Bismillah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Today we will continue with the Prophets, chapter 21. And as we proceed with this surah, it's coming to an end. And as we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the journey with this chapter, there is very concise and very focused messages Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending to us. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, the human actually in a hard test. You are in test because the test has two items. From outside, there is a devil who can see you, who knows what you're gonna do, who knows what what's going on, and he keep giving you the negative feed to do the wrong thing. Yourself, which is have the ego, have the jealousy, have the love. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wants to see you how you're going to balance that with your other commitments, the commitments to others, to outside, to your family, to your fellow human beings, to everything around you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see how you're going to balance it. So the first thing is, and on the other hand, the human is sleeping in a nap. The luxury, the lust, the temptations of this life is keeping him occupied. He's not recognizing that he is in a tough test, and at any time during that test, his exam sheet or his answer sheet can be taken away. That means when he dies, you're done. You cannot do anything. So that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, basically, wake up. Wake up in the first few ayat, the start of the surah. Yes, the judgment is coming. And we said the judgment, it doesn't mean exactly the judgment day, because it can mean the judgment day, but everybody already, when he dies, his judgment is next. There's no other, that there's no other phases. That's the judgment is coming to him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us. So the first thing is warning. Then it comes with, during your test, you'll experience tough times if you're a believer. If you're really seeking for the truth, if you're gonna fight for the truth, if you're gonna fight for La ilaha illallah, means there is only one God worthy of worshiping. If you're gonna fight for that, by fighting is you gotta inform people about it. You gotta talk about it. You gotta say that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and you tell the people what's right. You're gonna be, everybody. You're not gonna be. Everybody won't be happy with you. Then number three, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us examples of all these prophets, messengers. And He started with the father of all the prophets, Abraham. Then He brought other prophets with different tests. Somebody was tested with patience. Somebody was tested with people who were fighting him around him. Abraham was put on the fire, and how he survived. But you see, the main concept is these prophets are role models, example. They have the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when they have that connection, they will succeed in anything, regardless. Maybe the exam question is different, but the whole concept is the same. The concept is, do you have the belief in the only one God, that He is going to deliver you, that He is going to support you? So you have to steadfast. You have to be firm. You have to be tough. You have to be a good individual. You have to experience all the good qualities of the believers and trust in God. This is what all the prophets have done. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before the end of the surah, He said, why is all of this? Because there is a day judgment. And He showed us scenes where the believers, the good doers, the people who did good, the people who responded to the message of the prophets, and they acted upon it, they changed themselves, they changed outside, and they were able to succeed. They will go into the paradise. And on the other hand, the people who harmed others, the people who were unjust, the people who manipulated the truth, the people who supported those people who manipulate the truth, the people who supported these dictators, these tyrants, they will be, all of them will be sent to the hell fire, or be sent to hell. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before the end of the surah, He's talking about the Prophet Muhammad and the message of the Quran and the message of the Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have sent you as a mercy for mankind. And we explained yesterday how is this. And why the message, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala couldn't, He doesn't have to send prophets or messengers to guide us. Because Allah created each one of us with something called conscience. Everybody knows, with no religion, that stealing is not good, cheating is not good, killing people is not good, injuring people is not good, taking advantage of the poor is not good, taking advantage of the needy is not good. Everybody knows that. So basically, God could have just hold us accountable. But no, God is actually helping us by giving us a book which really have every detail, what will happen. So nobody have an excuse. So that's considered mercy from God. But still, a lot of people in the exam, they tell you this exam is an open book exam. And this is actually an open book test which we're living in. Open test, open book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have provided all the details, all the answers. But you have just to do what? Understand the concepts, understand what you're supposed to do, act upon it. That's it. And you'll be successful. But imagine you have an open book test. You are in front of the computer screen, you have to type the answers, and you have the book. And they give you plenty of time. But instead of you staying and looking for the answers, where is this answer, and try to get the answer and write it or type it, what's going to happen? No. You became distracted. Somebody send you text message. Somebody send you a movie. Somebody send you a video game. Somebody send you're watching stuff you're not supposed to watch. Texting stuff you're not supposed to text. Oh, so on and so forth. And at the end, instead of open book, easy, but instead of just filling up the answers, typing the answers, the exam is over. And it ends. The computer screen, boom, you cannot go back. It's on the computer, boom, computer screen, test ended. That's when you live life. So you have to know that the distraction of life around you is one of the biggest enemies to you. And it is going to try to distract you from learning and knowing the truth and act upon the truth. And that is what is the rahmah, the mercy of Allah. He give what Allah else can do. He gave us the message. He gave us an example of that message, which is the Prophet Muhammad, how he applied it. But still people are rejecting. People are getting so distracted with so many things and not answering the questions. And their exam will end. And they cannot go back. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, say, O Prophet, that إِنَّمَا يُوحَى إِلَيَّ إِنَّمَا إِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهُ وَاحِدٌ. Again, the same message. That I've been inspired, that there's only one God, one Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who need to be worshipped. We have to respect him. You have to follow his commandments. We have to follow his rulings. We have to follow his laws. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ? Will you become a believer? Will you surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's laws, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands, what you're supposed to do, acting good, acting just, acting in a way where there's no racism, where there is no advantage because you have connections, because you have money. And this is what's the main thing. Remember, when we're talking about the message of Islam and the message of the Quran, what was really the problem of the people of, and it's still the same problem here. It's the same problems we had 1400 years ago in Arabia, and same problem we have is what? The problem is the money. The problem is the interest. The problem is I am better. I'm rich, he's poor. I speak a certain language, he doesn't speak that language. I have that money, he doesn't have it. I. You know, I have a certain color, he doesn't have it. I am for a certain region, he's not from that region. I am that religion, he's not that. All of this stuff was a conflict of interest. The Arabs, do you know Prophet Muhammad? He was living there for years. Prophet Muhammad knows the Quran is a poetic form. Doesn't know any poetry. Never came with any sentence, one sentence of poetry. But what happened? At age of 40, when the message came down to him, he started. So he was the most honest guy. You know, the irony is, when he was trying to escape Medina or to leave Mecca for Medina, migrate from Mecca to Medina, he had these people entrusted him with their belongings, with their money, with their gold. And Muhammad, he was the one who was keeping them for them. And yet, they were trying to kill him. Yet, they were trying to get rid of him. And it just tells you that when the money, when the conflict of interest, it can actually act as a blind, make you blind, cover the truth in front of you. And this is exactly the same what's happening. Everybody, by analysis, by looking into this book, by looking into that message, by looking to, carefully, you realize that this book is from God. With so many scientific miracles, all the message itself, so many things. But even some people convinced, but they cannot take the step to become Muslims. Why? Because money, equality. They don't like equality. Because in Islam, you see in Hajj, when people go to the pilgrimage, everybody's the same. Everybody wearing a white garment. Everybody cannot differentiate. A man cannot have a gold chain to say, oh, I'm a rich rapper or whatever. No. Everybody's the same. Same cloth. Same uniform. You pray or you come, people pray in rows. Your head is behind the foot of somebody else who might even doesn't have money, who's not rich, who doesn't have any connection. That is what the beauty about Islam, equality. All of this created a problem for the Arabs at that time because they status. I am better. How can I become me and my slave pray together? We're the same. It doesn't work. It didn't work for them. That's why they fought. Although they know that he's truthful, although they know that the Quran was, but they fought because of they couldn't overcome the hurdles. Which hurdles? Money, status, skin color, connections, conflict of interest, all of this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Muhammad alayhi salam, he said, will you believe after all of this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he put the option, فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا, if they don't, and you don't believe in your message, فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَقُلْ آذَنْتُكُمْ عَلَى سَوَاءٍ, I already have given you, all of you, the warning. And I am also, on one hand, I'm telling you, I'm not keeping this warning to myself. No. Everybody knows. I know. We all know the rules of the game. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet. Everybody knows. Everybody is on a same thing. You know, when you sign a contract, everybody knows what is his duties. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Muhammad alayhi salam, you tell them what their duties, you tell them what are your duties, what their duties. So when something happens, you won't be blamed. وَإِنْ أَدْرِي أَقَرِيبٌ أَمْ بَعِيدٌ مَا تُوعَدُونَ. Oh, I don't even know. And this is what happens. Prophets, messengers, they don't know timing for actions. They're just normal people. Jesus was a normal human being. So they don't know what will happen next, unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell them for some specific items or for specific things. But here, I don't know what will happen. What will happen will be quick, the judgment, your punishment will be quick or far. I don't know what Allah has promised to happen. That is what happened. It's open. It's open. Allah can do whatever He wants. He's the creator. He's the originator. He's the one who controls everything. Who the Prophet said, who I am, who am I? And that's for everybody. We're nothing. We are nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who controls everything. He knows everything. We're nothing. Trust me. When you think that your small brain, which we cannot even figure how it works, have can reach like a little bit of wisdom. You know, I can, wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wisdom, you'll be mistaken. Allah, we just وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Where Allah have given us just a little bit of knowledge, little bit of what He has, subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمَ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, even the timing, which is something is easy. Somebody to say, oh, this is going to happen tomorrow. This stock will go up tomorrow in 5 years or 6 years. He can even give a range. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, but even if you can give some kind of time frame for anything, I know even what nobody knows. What is it? What's inside you. Nobody can know what's inside the other person's heart, or what the other person is thinking about, or what's coming in the head of the other person. Nobody. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I know. إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ الْجَهْرَ مِنَ الْقَوْلِ لِي وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْتُمُونَ. He knows what they say in public, al-jahr. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْتُمُونَ. And He knows what's inside you. The words which you don't want to profess. The words you don't want to say. You know, if you want to abuse somebody, you want to say something bad, you have the person's heart is an evil heart. The person's heart is good heart. Allah knows everything. That's what basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. And then the Prophet, he said, وَإِنْ أَدْرِي لَعَلَّهُ فِتْنَةٌ لَكُمْ وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَى حِينٍ. And this whole thing, the Prophet, he said, is just a test. Fitna means a test for everybody. And your luxury life, your money, your mansions, your houses, your gold is just temporary. Mata', temporary sustenance. Mata' used to be like when they have somebody going to work on a farm or something. They give him a little scoop of dates for his lunch or breakfast or for his lunch, for example. That's called mata'. Something he's going to use is temporary. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. You're going to live here for whatever you have, it's just going to let you, it's going to stay with you for a little bit. And then you will go. But just a test. Everything you have is a test. The message is a test. You got to believe in it. You're going to act upon it. You'll be saved. Otherwise, you'll be doomed. You'll be in hell. And then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, this really ayah, the end of the surah, it tells you what is really the situation. The situation is these prophets and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, especially in this status or in this situation, he's suffering abuse, verbal abuse, calling him names, family abuse, they abuse his family, physical abuse, they throw stuff on him. When he went to Ta'if, that's another city, they stoned him with stones and rocks. All of this shows you the suffering of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the sacrifice he have done for this book to come to us. So he said, because after this, he keep giving them the message, but they're hard-headed, adamant, not accepting it. Same thing here in our societies. You keep telling the people this is not right. These are crimes against humanity. No. It's a justified war. So many wars America went through. Our lovely country went through. But unfortunately, what happened? A lot of more people died. Innocent people died or tortured. And no, they manipulate the truth. Or we have justification to go after this country or this country or this country. Or when you present the message of Islam, you'll see all kind of sort of fabricated accusations. Your Prophet did this. The Quran says this. And everything, all these accusations come from the people who don't understand. Number one, they don't understand the Arabic language. Number two, they don't understand the history, the context of the verses. They don't understand it. They don't understand it. They go through, behind the fabricated hadith, fabricated sayings of the Prophet. And they take it, and it has nothing to do with Islam, with the truth. So then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, قُلْ رَبْ يُحْكُمْ بِالْحَقِّ. At the end, he did whatever he can, like all the other prophets. At the end he said what? Allah, oh my Lord, you are the most fair, just judge. You are the just judge. So you, Allah, rule with justice. Oh my Lord, rule with justice. وَرَبُّنَا الرَّحْمَنُ الْمُسْتَعَانِ. And my Lord, my God, who controls everything, who created everything, who is able to do anything and everything, who knows everything. You are the merciful. See, even the Prophet, because he's a human, he's afraid that big judgment come down, torment, earthquake, or big destruction happen, fear and all that stuff. So that's why he said, Rahman, Merciful. You're the merciful. You're the merciful, Ya Allah. Take it easy with them. Take it easy with me. Take it easy. You know? وَرَبُّنَا الرَّحْمَنِ. You're the one who's gonna, you're the most wise. You're the most merciful. So have mercy. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really, his anger took over and he sent the big judgment, what will happen? We cannot even do anything. Like this earth as a whole, it's just like rotating in space. Trust me, if something really big hit it, I don't know what kind of destruction we're going to have. So that's why we have to understand that even we are not even, yeah, you think like you're on earth, but the whole earth is rotating in the space. وَرَبُّنَا الرَّحْمَنُ الْمُسْتَعَانِ. Al-Musta'an means the one who gives support, give help. Allah, who is asking about all of these qualities of Allah Musta'an, the one who support, who give help. Because he need help at that time. Everybody need help. If you're a believer in Allah and God, you will need help every single second of your life until you die. Until the last minute of your life. You need help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahul musta'ana ala ma tasifun. So he's telling them that Allah will help me. Allah will support me because you have so many false accusations against the Quran, against the Prophet Muhammad, against Allah. They're calling Allah names, they're calling Allah have sons, Allah has daughters, Allah has all kind of stuff. Jesus is God, the cow is a God, the graves is God, the tyrants, the rulers are gods, the devil is God. All this because you follow them or you calling upon them to help you. So Prophet Muhammad, he said, You are Allah. You are the one who will give me support to overcome all of these wrong accusations, all of these false narratives, all of this false worshipping. You are the one who's going to give me some support. At the end of this surah, we concluded this chapter 21. As we see, it's going to be still, as we see in this life, it's going to stay a fight. Good and evil. People who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people who believe in this message of Islam, one God, and the people who don't believe. It's going to be a fight of intellect, a fight of the truth. And at the end of the day, that is what Allah says in this Quran, that the believers has to win. This is what he said in a few ayat from before. Previously he said that this is land, this earth, this land, and in the hereafter, the believers are the one who will inherit it. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين.